Hi there, welcome to Fantasy Hub. I'm Mia, your storyteller. Today's story is filled with heartache, discovery, and a twist you won't see coming. So let's begin.
Picture this. It's a Tuesday morning in downtown Portland, and I'm running late for my part-time job at the community center. I've got this stack of mail balanced precariously in one arm, my phone in the other hand because I'm live streaming my morning chaos to exactly 17 viewers, my usual audience of insomniacs and fellow disaster humans. Okay, chat, I'm saying to my phone, today's mission is simple. Deliver mail without dying. Yesterday's score, Elena won, Stairs 0, but the stairs cheated. That's when I see her. Georgia Martinez is doing pull-ups on the outdoor fitness. Equipment like gravity personally offended her family. Her shoulders move under her tank top with this fluid power that makes my brain short-circuit. I've seen her on TV, of course, our local Paralympic hero, the swimmer who collected medals like some people collect coffee shop loyalty stamps. But seeing her in person, it's like watching a storm contained in human form. I'm so busy staring that I don't notice the uneven sidewalk. My ankle rolls, my arms windmill dramatically, and suddenly I'm launching mail like confetti at the 2024 Portland Pride Parade. Letters scatter everywhere, and one envelope, because the universe has a twisted sense of humor, smacks Georgia Martinez directly in the face. She catches it without even looking up from her pull-up bar, doesn't break rhythm, just plucks my projectile mail out of the air and continues her set like getting pelted with correspondence is a normal Tuesday occurrence. When she finally drops from the bar, she turns to me with this expression, half amused, half something I can't quite read. Her eyes are this incredible dark brown, like coffee just before you add cream, and they're focused entirely on me. You always throw mail at athletes, she says, holding up the envelope. Or am I special? I'm crouched on the sidewalk, frantically gathering scattered letters, and I can feel my face burning red. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I was live streaming and I gesture vaguely at her entire existence, doing that thing with your arms, and I forgot how walking works. She laughs then, and it's not what I expected. It's warm and genuine, not the polished media laugh I've heard in interviews. She steps closer, and I catch a whiff of chlorine and something else, coconut sunscreen maybe, live streaming. She tilts her head, genuinely curious. What kind of streaming? The extremely unsuccessful kind, I admit, still collecting mail. I document my daily disasters for the entertainment of dozens. Yesterday, I got locked out of my apartment in my underwear. My audience loved it. How many is dozens? 17. On a good day, she grins wider. What's your username? Chaotic Elena. Very creative, I know. I'll check it out. She holds out her hand to help me up. I'm Georgia. Elena, and I promise, I'm not usually this. I wave at the mail explosion around us. This what? Interesting? The way she says it makes something flutter in my stomach. There's an edge to her voice, something playful and challenging that makes me forget I'm supposed to be embarrassed. I was going to say catastrophic, same thing. She bends down and helps me collect the remaining letters. Her fingers brush mine when she hands me a stack, and I swear I feel electricity. You work around here? Community center. Mail delivery is apparently more dangerous than advertised. I train there sometimes. Pool's decent, I know. The words slip out before I can stop them. I mean, I've seen you there. Not that I was watching. Watching sounds creepy. I was just watching. Her smile turns absolutely wicked. Got it. That's how I end up sitting across from Georgia Martinez and growing coffee 2 hours later, wondering if this is real life or an elaborate hallucination brought on by acute embarrassment. She's changed out of her workout clothes into jeans and a faded Team USA hoodie, but she still looks like she could deadlift the espresso machine if the mood struck her. Her hair is damp from the shower, curling slightly at the edges, and she keeps running her fingers through it in a way that's absolutely mesmerizing. So, she says, sliding a latte toward me, she remembered I ordered oat milk. Tell me about this live streaming empire you're building. Empire is generous. It's more like a very small, very chaotic kingdom. I wrap my hands around the mug, grateful for something to do with my nervous energy. I started it during lockdown. Figured if I was going to be a disaster, might as well monetize it. What kind of disasters are we talking about? Last week, I tried to make sourdough bread and accidentally created what I'm pretty sure was a new form of concrete. The week before that, I got stuck in a tree trying to rescue a cat that turned out to be a plastic bag. She snorts with laughter. A plastic bag. In my defense, it was a very convincing plastic bag. It had attitude. What did your 17 viewers think? They loved it. Apparently, my suffering is highly entertaining. I take a sip of my latte and immediately burn my tongue. Even drinking coffee is a disaster when Georgia's watching. What about you? What's it like being actually successful at things? Her expression shifts slightly, something guarded sliding across her features. Success is relative. You're literally an Olympic medalist. Paralympic, and those medals don't pay rent. There's something in her voice that makes me want to dig deeper, but before I can, she's deflecting with questions about my life. We talk for 2 hours, and I learn things about Georgia Martinez that definitely weren't in her official bio. She grew up in a house where schedule was religion and deviation was sin. Training at 5 a.m., school, training again, homework, sleep, repeat. Her parents are lovely people, she insists, but they've never quite understood that she's a human being, not just a metal-producing machine. They mean well, she says, stirring sugar into her third espresso. But sometimes I think they see Georgia the athlete more than Georgia the person. What does Georgia the person want? She looks at me for a long moment, and there's something intense in her gaze that makes my breath catch. She wants to know why you were really watching me at the pool. Heat floods my cheeks. I told you I wasn't, Elena. Her voice is gentle but firm. You were watching, and I was hoping you were. My brain temporarily stops functioning. You were? You think I do pull-ups in public for my health? But you're you, and I gesture at myself still, probably smelling faintly of spilled coffee and embarrassment. You're beautiful. She says it matter-of-factly, like she's commenting on the weather, and funny, and completely unpredictable in the best way. I stare at her, wondering if this is some elaborate prank. Are you sure we're talking about the same me? The one who just spent 20 minutes explaining why I got trapped in my own sports bra yesterday? That was actually a very compelling narrative. I was invested in the outcome. Georgia ... double quote, Elena. She leans forward and suddenly she's close enough that I can count the gold flecks in her brown eyes. I like you. A lot. And unless I'm completely misreading the situation, you like me too. My heart is doing gymnastics routines in my chest. I like you too. But you should know ... I take a deep breath. I'm gay. The words hang in the air for approximately half a second before Georgia throws back her head and laughs, really laughs, the kind that makes her eyes crinkle and her shoulders shake. No shit, she says, grinning. Elena, I've been flirting with you for 2 hours. Did you think I was just being really friendly? I thought maybe you were Canadian. This sets her off again, and her laughter is so infectious that I start giggling. Too. And suddenly we're both cracking up in the middle of grind coffee while other patrons stare at us like we've lost our minds. When we finally calm down, Georgia wipes tears from her eyes. For the record, I'm also gay. Very, very gay. Gold medal level gay. That's really good to know. Good. She stands up and extends her hand to me. Come on, let me walk. You to your bike. Outside, the Portland afternoon is crisp and perfect. My bike is locked to a post about a block away, which gives us time to walk slowly, our shoulders bumping with each step. So, what happens now? I ask, because I've never been good at reading social cues. And my usual relationships, if you can call them that, have consisted mostly of awkward dates with other grad students who wanted to discuss feminist theory. Over bad wine? Now, Georgia says, stopping next to my bike, you volunteer at the training center. I'll teach you to swim properly. I can swim. Elena, I've watched you in that pool. What you do could generously be called drowning with style. Rude but accurate. I unlock my bike, hyper aware of her standing close enough that I can feel warmth radiating from her skin. Are you asking me out? I'm asking you to let me put my hands on you in a socially acceptable context while we're both wearing very little clothing. I nearly drop my bike. That's definitely a yes. She grins and reaches past me to grab my handlebars, steadying the bike. Her body brushes against mine, and I swear every nerve ending I have lights up like the 4th of July. Good, she murmurs, her voice low enough that it does things to my brain chemistry. Training starts tomorrow, 6 a.m. 6 a.m.? That's not a real time. That's when vampires go to bed. Elena, fine, but I'm bringing coffee. Deal. She leans in, and for a wild second, I think she's going to kiss me, but instead she whispers, and Elena? Next time you live stream your disasters, give me a heads up. I want to subscribe. Then she's walking away, and I'm standing there with my bike, watching the way her jeans fit like they were personally tailored by someone with a PhD in Georgia Martinez's ass. I pull out my phone with shaking hands and start a new stream. Chat, I say to my camera. Remember that swimmer I mentioned? The one with the arms? We're going on a date. And by date, I mean she's going to teach me not to drown while wearing a bikini. I'm either about to have the best week of my life or die of embarrassment in a swimming pool. Place your bets now. If I thought Georgia was impressive from a distance, watching her in her element is like witnessing the force of nature. She moves through water the way most people move through air, effortlessly, powerfully, like she was born for it. It's 6:30 a.m. and the community center pool is empty except for us. Early morning light streams through the high windows, turning the chlorinated water into liquid gold. Georgia's already done her morning training by the time I stumble in with my oversized coffee and a swimming bag I borrowed from my roommate. You came, she says, surfacing near the pool edge. Water streams from her hair, and her smile is bright, enough to power the building. I'm here. Conscious is debatable. I set my coffee down and try not to stare at the way her swimsuit regulation team USA. All business somehow makes her look like a superhero. Fair warning, I may die. I'm not fully awake yet. I'll perform CPR if necessary. That's not encouraging. That's incentivizing. She laughs and pulls herself out of the pool in one smooth motion. Water cascades off her, and I have to focus very hard on not having a public meltdown about her shoulders, or her arms, or the way her Abe sass are basically a roadmap to enlightenment. You're staring again, she says, but she doesn't sound bothered. You're very stareable. It's distracting. Good thing we're starting with basics then. She walks over to where I'm standing frozen by the pool edge. Let's see what we're working with. Show me your stroke. I strip down to my borrowed one-piece, modest navy thing that makes me look like I'm heading to aqua aerobics at the senior center and slide into the water. It's warmer than I expected, and the chlorine sting is familiar and oddly comforting. Okay, I say, treading water. Prepare to be deeply unimpressed. I demonstrate what I generously call my freestyle stroke. It's more like aggressive drowning, with forward momentum. My form is atrocious, my breathing is panicked, and I'm pretty sure I'm creating more splash than a golden retriever with a DHD when I surface at the other end of the pool, gasping like I've just completed a triathlon. Georgia is trying very hard not to laugh. Thoughts, I wheeze. You're enthusiastic. That's the nicest way anyone's ever said terrible. She slides into the water beside me, and suddenly we're sharing space in the shallow end, close enough that I can see water droplets clinging to her eyelashes. You're not terrible, she says seriously. You're untrained. There's a difference. Feels the same from where I'm drowning, trust me. She moves closer, and I can feel the water displacement as she settles next to me. Swimming isn't about fighting the water. It's about working with it. Here. She positions herself behind me, her hands coming to rest on my shoulders. Feel how I'm floating? I'm not working to stay up. I'm just being. Her body is warm against my back, and her voice is right next to my ear. I'm supposed to be learning about buoyancy, but all I can focus on is the way her breath feels against my neck. Now, she continues, let's work on your stroke. The problem isn't strength. You've got plenty of that. It's efficiency. Her hands guide my arms through the proper motion, slow and deliberate. Her touch is clinical, educational, but there's something else there too, an awareness, an electricity that has nothing to do with swimming technique. Better, she murmurs as my form improves. Much better. We work for an hour, moving from basic strokes to breathing techniques to something Georgia calls hydrodynamic positioning, which seems to involve a lot of her hands on various parts of my anatomy for instructional purposes. By the time we're done, I'm exhausted but exhilarated. I can actually swim a full length without looking like I'm auditioning for a disaster movie. You're a good teacher, I tell her as we sit on the pool edge, legs dangling in the water. You're a good student, quick learner. I have excellent motivation. I glance at her sideways. The view from here is pretty spectacular. She grins. Is that so? Oh yeah, very educational. Well, she says, sliding back into the water, education is important. Maybe tomorrow we should work on diving. Diving? Lots of one-on-one instruction required, very hands-on. The promise in her voice makes my stomach do flips that have nothing to do with being in water. I should warn you, I say, following her back into the pool. I tend to get distracted during hands-on instruction. Good thing I'm a patient teacher. She swims closer, and suddenly we're face to face in the shallow end, water lapping around our shoulders. Her hair is slicked back, and there are tiny droplets of water on her lips that catch the morning light. Elena, she says quietly, yeah? I really want to kiss you right now. My heart does that thing where it forgets how to beat properly. What's stopping you? Nothing, she whispers, and then her mouth is on mine. It's soft at first, tentative, like she's asking permission. But when I respond, when I thread my fingers through her wet hair and pull her closer, the kiss deepens into something that makes me forget we're in a public pool at 7 in the morning. She tastes like chlorine and mint and something that's purely Georgia. Her hands find my waist under the water as she pulls me against her, and suddenly I understand why people write poetry about drowning. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. Fuck, I whisper. Good fuck or bad fuck? Very, very good fuck. She grins and presses another quick kiss to my lips. Same time tomorrow? I'll be here? Good. She starts to swim away, then turns back. And Elena? Maybe wear something less modest tomorrow for better hydrodynamic efficiency. Heat floods my cheeks. Are you suggesting I wear a more revealing swimsuit for educational purposes? I'm suggesting, she says with a grin that could power half of Portland, that education should be as thorough as possible. Then she's swimming away with powerful, efficient strokes, leaving me standing chest deep in water, wondering how the hell I got so lucky. That afternoon, I start my live stream from my couch, still smelling faintly of chlorine. Chat, I say to my faithful 17 viewers. I have news. The swimmer, the one with the arms, she kissed me in the pool at 7 a.m. while teaching me not to drown. I pause, grinning stupidly at my phone. I think I'm in trouble. The good kind of trouble. The kind where you start Googling how to be worthy of a Paralympic athlete at 2 in the morning. The comments start rolling in immediately. My little audience of disaster enthusiasts is apparently very invested in my love life. Oh my God, Elena. Finally. We've been shipping this for days, swimming lessons every day from now on. Your face is so red, RN. Yes, swimming lessons every day, I confirm. And yes, my face is red. It's been red since approximately 7:15 this morning. I may never recover. What's she like? I pause, trying to find words that don't sound completely ridiculous. She's incredible, like genuinely incredible. Smart and funny and so confident it makes my brain short circuit. And she thinks I'm interesting, which is either very sweet or evidence that chlorine exposure affects judgment. You're totally smitten, completely gone, I admit. Like, embarrassingly gone. I Googled her medal count 3 times today. Did you know she holds 2 world records? 2. And she wants to teach me to swim better. Me, the person who once got tangled in pool noodles during a children's swim class. The comments keep coming, my little community of chaos enthusiasts cheering me on, and I realize that for the first time in months, my disaster-prone life feels like it might be heading somewhere beautiful. 3 weeks into our swimming lessons, I'm completely, utterly, hopelessly gone for Georgia Martinez. It turns out that beneath the Olympic medalist exterior is someone who leaves me voice messages at weird hours just to tell me about a funny cloud she saw. Who knows every coffee shop in Portland and their best pastries? Who gets genuinely excited about terrible reality TV shows and falls asleep during movies we both claim we want to watch? She's also, as my increasingly invested livestream audience, has discovered incredibly good at finding excuses to put her hands on me during our morning pool sessions. Today's lesson is about improving your foot turns. She announces on a Thursday morning, and I swear she's trying not to smirk. I can barely do regular turns. All the more reason to practice. What follows is 45 minutes of Georgia's hands on my hips, guiding me through underwater rotations that seem to require an improbable amount of physical contact. Every correction involves her body pressed against mine, her voice low. In my ear, her fingers adjusting my position with professional precision and something that definitely isn't professional at all. By the time we're done, I'm flushed and breathless and not entirely from the exercise. You're getting better? She says as we sit on the pool edge afterward. Am I learning to swim, or are you just finding creative ways to grope me in public? Can't it be both? She leans over and kisses me, slow and sweet, and I'm just melting into it when my phone buzzes insistently from where I left it by my towel. Ignore it, Georgia murmurs against my lips. But the buzzing continues, and finally I break away to check. My phone screen is exploding with notifications. Livestream comments, Twitter mentions, Instagram DM is all going absolutely insane. What the hell? I swipe open my streaming app and my heart stops. I forgot to turn off my live stream. My phone has been broadcasting our entire pool session, including the kissing, to my audience, which is no longer 17 people. The viewer count is climbing rapidly, 847, 1,203, 2,456. Oh fuck, I whisper. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. What's wrong? Georgia moves closer, reading over my shoulder, and I watch her face change as she sees the screen. Elena, how many people are watching this? I don't know. It was 17 this morning, but the number jumps again. 4,892. Shit, Georgia. I'm so sorry. I forgot I was streaming. I never forget, but you were doing that thing with your hands and she goes very still. How long has it been broadcasting? I scroll back through the timestamp with shaking hands. About an hour. An hour. Her voice is flat. Of us. In the pool. I'm so sorry. I'll delete it. But it's too late. My phone is buzzing with screenshot notifications, people recording clips, sharing links. In the space of an hour, our private moment has become public property. Georgia stands up abruptly, wrapping her towel around herself. I have to go. Georgia. Wait, I have training. She's already walking toward the locker room. I single quotes LL ... I'll call you later, but she doesn't call. Not that day or the next. My messages go unanswered, my calls straight to voicemail. The swimming lessons stop. Meanwhile, the internet has absolutely lost its mind. The clip of us kissing has been shared thousands of times. Someone identifies Georgia, and suddenly hashtag swimmer girlfriend is trending on Twitter. Sports blogs are picking up the story. My livestream followers jump from 17 to over 50,000 overnight. The comments range from supportive to invasive to downright creepy. So cute. Oh my god, Elena living her best life. Wait, is this the Georgia Martinez? Paralympic swimmer dating a streamer. This is everything. They're so hot together. Elena better treat her right. Why is this even news? LOL, but mixed. And with the positive reactions are other things. Speculation about Georgia's career, questions about her sponsors, debates about her private life being public, screenshots of her official Team USA profiles, discussions about whether this affects her endorsement deals. I watch it spiral from my couch, helpless and horrified. This is exactly what Georgia doesn't need, her personal life becoming a public spectacle. Her relationship status turned into content for strangers to consume and debate. By Friday, the story has been picked up by major sports outlets. I watch in growing horror as ESPN runs a segment called Love in the Pool, Paralympic Stars' Secret Romance, complete with footage from my accidentally public live stream and speculation about how this might affect Georgia's training. That's when I see the press conference. Georgia sits at a table and her team use a tracksuit, looking composed and professional. And nothing like the woman who laughed at my terrible jokes 3 days ago. A reporter leans forward with predatory interest. Georgia, there's been quite a bit of buzz about your personal life this week. Rumors that you're dating your, quote, swim assistant. Care to comment? I watch Georgia's face go carefully blank. Her media training kicks in, and she becomes someone I don't recognize, polished, guarded, every spontaneous thing about her locked away. I prefer to keep my focus on training and competition, she says smoothly. My personal life isn't relevant to my athletic performance. But the viral video, I don't comment on social media speculation. Her voice is firm, final. My priority is representing my country to the best of my ability. The reporter presses harder. Your sponsors have been quite supportive of your career. Any concerns about how personal publicity might affect those relationships? Something flickers across Georgia's face so quick I almost miss it. Fear. As I said, my focus is on swimming, nothing else. The interview continues, but I stop watching. Georgia's message is clear. I'm a distraction, a complication, something to be managed and minimized. I turn off the TV and stare at my phone, where thousands of strangers are still dissecting our relationship, our kiss, our private moment that became public consumption. For the first time since this whole mess started, I understand why Georgia hasn't called me back. The next few weeks are a whirlwind of learning how to be a public couple while still being ourselves. Georgia moves in with me, partly because my apartment is more private than her sponsored housing, mostly because we can't stand to be apart for more than a few hours. We develop routines, morning training sessions that are now legitimately educational, those still featuring an improbable amount of hands-on instruction. Afternoon streams where Georgia sometimes joins me to answer questions or just be adorably supportive in the background. Evenings where we cook terrible meals together and watch even worse reality TV. My audience adores her. She has this way of being completely genuine on camera, no media training polish, just Georgia being Georgia. When someone asks about her training regimen, she explains it in detail. When they ask about her medals, she tells stories about competitions that make her sound human instead of superhuman. When they ask about me, she gets this soft expression that makes the comments section collectively melt. Elena makes me remember why I love swimming. She says during one stream, absent-mindedly playing with my hair while I read comments. Before her, it felt like work, like something I had to do instead of something I got to do. Now, when I'm in the pool, I think about teaching her something new, or I imagine her watching me race, and it feels like joy again. I'm crying Georgia is so soft for Elena. This is what love looks like. We don't deserve this wholesome content. Elena, you better marry this woman. The marriage comments have become a running joke. Every stream, without fail, someone suggests we get married immediately. Georgia always laughs and says she's working on it, which makes me turn approximately 7 shades of red and generates endless speculation about proposal timelines. But it's not all smooth sailing. Dating a public figure means dealing with scrutiny I never expected. People analyze everything, my appearance, my worthiness, whether I'm good enough for Georgia. Some of Georgia's fans resent me for distracting her from training. Others think I'm using her for clout, that I'm exploiting our relationship for views. The criticism stings, especially on days when I'm already feeling insecure about the gap between us. Georgia is a world-class athlete with sponsorship deals and Olympic medals. I'm a grad student who streams her daily disasters to strangers on the internet. On paper, we don't make sense. You're in your head again, Georgia says one evening, finding me scrolling through particularly nasty comments on my phone. Someone started a thread about why you could do better than a wannabe influencer who can't even swim properly. She takes my phone and sets it aside, then pulls me into her lap. Elena, look at me. I meet her eyes reluctantly. Do you know what I did before I met you? Won medals, broke records, inspired people. I woke up at 4:30 a.m., trained until I was exhausted, ate the same 3 meals every day, went to bed at 9 p.m., and repeated it for 15 years. I was the loneliest successful person you've ever met. Her hands frame my face. You know what I do now? Tell me. I wake up next to someone who makes me laugh before I'm fully conscious. I train harder because I'm happier. I look forward to coming home because home means you. I eat actual food instead of just protein and vegetables because you introduced me to the concept of fun meals. I stay up past 9 because watching terrible movies with you is better than sleep. She pauses, thumb stroking my cheeks. Elena, I've spent my whole life being good at swimming, but you make me good at being human. Those people who think you're not enough, they don't know what enough means. I lean into her touch, feeling some of the tension leave my shoulders. I love you. I love you too. More than medals, more than records, more than anything I've ever accomplished in a pool. Even your world records, especially my world records, they're just times on a board. You're real. You're here. You're mine. She kisses me then, soft and sure, and I think that maybe the critics are right about one thing: I did win the lottery. 3 months into our very public relationship, Georgia qualifies for the World Para-Swimming Championships in Manchester. It's her first major international competition since we started dating, and the pressure is intense. The media coverage is relentless. Every article about the championships mentions our relationship. Sports commentators debate whether being in love has made Georgia soft, whether she's lost her competitive edge. Her times in practice have been great, but that doesn't stop the speculation. Georgia Martinez heads to Manchester. With questions about her focus, one particular annoying sports blogger writes, since going public with her relationship with social media personality Elena Chen, Martinez has seemed more interested in her personal brand than her performance. In the pool, I want to throw my laptop across the room. Personal brand? You're training harder than ever. Ignore them, Georgia says, but I can see the tension in her shoulders. They need something to write about. They're implying you're not taking this seriously. Elena, I've been swimming competitively for 15 years. I know how to handle pressure. She pauses her packing to look at me, but I need you to promise me something. Anything. Don't read the coverage while I'm gone. Don't engage with comments about my performance. Don't let strangers on the internet make you feel responsible for how I race. Georgia, promise me. I can't be worrying about you worrying about what people are saying. I need to know you're okay so I can focus on swimming fast. I promise, but it's harder than I expected. The championships are huge broadcasts internationally, covered by every major sports outlet. Georgia's races are on at weird hours because of the time difference, which means I'm waking up at 3 a.m. to watch her swim. The coverage is exactly as awful as I feared. Every camera shot seems designed to catch her looking unfocused or distracted. Commentators mention our relationship constantly, speculating about whether she's lost her edge or if personal distractions are affecting her performance. But then I watch her swim, and all the noise fades away. Georgia in competition is something else entirely. She's powerful and precise and absolutely relentless. Her first race is the 100 meters freestyle, and she doesn't just win, she obliterates the field, touching the wall a full body length ahead of second place. As she surfaces and sees her time on the board, her face transforms. Pure joy, pure triumph. The expression of someone who just did exactly what they trained their whole life to do. The camera catches her climbing out of the pool, and she looks directly into the lens, directly at me, thousands of miles away in my living room, and mouths, I love you. I burst into tears right there on my couch. Elena, are you crying? We're all crying, Georgia, looking at the camera like that. She swam that race for you. This is the most romantic thing ever. My phone is buzzing with notifications, but I ignore them all. I just watch Georgia accept her gold medal, watch her grin during the national anthem, watch her blow a kiss to the camera during her victory interview. This win is for everyone who believes that athletes can be whole people, she tells the reporter. We don't have to choose between excellence and love. We can have both. The reporter tries to ask follow-up questions about me, about our relationship, but Georgia just smiles and walks away. She calls me as soon as she's off camera. Did you see? She asks, breathless with excitement. I saw. Georgia, that was incredible. You were incredible. I kept thinking about you in the stands back home, cheering for me. It made me swim faster. I was definitely cheering. And crying, mostly crying. She laughs, happy crying. The happiest crying. I'm so proud of you. I have 2 more races. But Elena, this feels different. Good different. Like I'm swimming for joy instead of just swimming to win. Maybe that's what makes you faster. Maybe I love you. I love you too. Now go celebrate with your team. I'll be here when you get home. She wins all 3 of her races, setting 2 new world records in the process. The media narrative shifts overnight suddenly. She's not distracted, she's motivated. Love didn't make her soft, it made her stronger. The victory interviews are my favorite part. Georgia is glowing, confident, completely in her element. When reporters ask about her performance, she talks about training and technique and race strategy. When they ask about me, she lights up in a completely different way. Elena makes me better at everything, she says simply. Better at swimming, better at being human, better at being happy. I'm lucky to have her in my corner. Georgia's smile when she talks about Elena. We love a supportive girlfriend. This is what a power couple looks like. Elena wife her up immediately when Georgia comes home 3 days later. She's still riding the high of competition. She tackles me in my apartment doorway, spinning me around while I shriek with laughter. 3 golds! She announces to my live stream audience, which has grown to over 200,000 while she was gone. Your girl is fast. We knew you were fast. Congrats, Georgia. Elena's face right now. This is adorable. You two are goals. That night, after we've celebrated with takeout and champagne and thoroughly scandalized my audience with our victory makeout session, Georgia gets quiet. What's wrong? I ask, curled against her side in bed. Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. That's what's weird. She traces patterns on my bare shoulder. Elena, I've been thinking, dangerous. I'm serious. This whole competition, all I could think about was coming home to you. Not just the celebrating though, that's nice, but the normal stuff. Making coffee together, watching you edit your streams, listening to you read comments in different voices. I do not do voices. You absolutely do voices. You have a special voice for trolls and another one for people who ask about my training schedule. I consider this. Okay, maybe I do voices. I love your voices. I love everything about this life we're building. She shifts so she can look at me directly. Elena, I want to build more of it. What do you mean? She's quiet for a long moment, and I can practically hear her thinking. I mean, she says finally, that I've never been happier than I am right now, and I want to make it official. My heart stops. Official how? Instead of answering, she rolls out of bed and starts digging through her suitcase. Georgia, what? I bought this in Manchester, she says, turning around with a small velvet box in her hands. I was going to wait, plan something elaborate, but then I realized, why wait? We've done everything else backwards and in public. Why should this be different? I stare at the box, my brain completely short-circuiting. Georgia Martinez, are you? Elena-chan, she says, dropping to one knee next to her bed, completely naked and completely unself-conscious. Will you marry me? Will you let me love you officially for the rest of our lives? Will you keep streaming our disasters and letting me be part of your beautiful chaos? I'm crying again, happy tears, shocked tears, overwhelmed tears. Georgia, I know it's sudden. I know we've only been together for a few months. But Elena, I've never been more sure of anything. Not my first race, not my first medal, not any decision I've ever made. I want you. I want this. I want us forever. She opens the box, revealing a simple, elegant ring that catches the light from my bedside lamp. Yes, I whisper. Yes, yes, yes. I launch myself at her, knocking us both to the floor in a tangle of limbs and laughter. Yes, yes, obviously yes. She slides the ring onto my finger with shaking hands, and it fits perfectly. I love you, she says against my lips. I love you too. But Georgia, yeah, next time you propose, maybe put on pants first. She looks down at herself and starts laughing. Too late now. This is the story we're stuck with. I wouldn't have it any other way. We get married 6 months later in the most chaotic, beautiful, perfectly us ceremony imaginable. It's supposed to be small, just family and close friends in my parents' backyard in Seattle. But somehow word gets out, okay, I may have accidentally mentioned it during a live stream, and suddenly we have 200 people RSVPing, including half of Georgia's Olympic teammates and what feels like the entire Pacific Northwest LGBTQ plus community. My parents, bless them, rise to the occasion. Dad constructs an elaborate arch out of pool noodles and fairy lights that he insists is thematically appropriate. Mom coordinates with Georgia's mother to create a fusion feast that somehow incorporates both families' traditions plus a dessert table that includes protein bars decorated with little fondant swimmers. This is insane, I tell Georgia the morning of the wedding, watching my dad direct a team of volunteers and hanging streamers while my stream audience offers decorating advice in real time. Good insane or bad insane? She asks, appearing behind me with 2 cups of coffee and a kiss to my neck. The best insane. But Georgia, are you sure about this? The circus, the publicity, all these people watching us get married. She turns me around to face her. She's already in her wedding outfit, a stunning white suit that makes her look like a goddess, and her smile could power the entire Seattle grid. Elena, 6 months ago, I was the loneliest successful person you'd ever met. Today, I am marrying my best friend in front of everyone we love, including thousands of strangers on the internet who've been rooting for us since day one. If that's not worth celebrating publicly, what is? She's right. Our relationship has been public from almost the beginning. Why should our wedding be any different? The ceremony itself is perfect chaos. I walk down the aisle to Can't Help Myself by the Four Tops, while my live stream audience provides commentary in real time. Georgia tears up when she sees me, which makes me tear up, which makes half the wedding party start crying. Our vows are a mixture of heartfelt promises and inside jokes that make our families laugh and our internet audience lose their collective minds. Georgia promises to always be patient when teaching me new swimming techniques, even when I'm aggressively drowning with enthusiasm. I promise to always warn her before accidentally broadcasting our private moments to thousands of strangers. Elena, Georgia says, taking my hands, you turned my life from black and white into full color. You made me remember that there's a world outside of training schedules and competition pools. You taught me that being successful and being happy aren't mutually exclusive, they're better together. She pauses, looking directly into my eyes while 200 people and 50,000 live stream viewers wait for her next words. I promise to love your disasters, support your dreams, and always be impressed by your ability to create chaos in the most mundane situations. I promise to be your biggest fan, your training partner, and your home. I choose you, Elena Chen, every day for the rest of my life. By the time I'm supposed to say my vows, I'm crying too hard to speak properly. The efficient Georgia's college teammate Sarah offers me tissues while my audience floods the chat with heart emojis. Georgia Martinez, I finally manage, 6 months ago, I threw mail at you by accident and somehow convinced you I was worth dating. That's either the best disaster of my life or evidence that you have questionable judgment. The crowd laughs and I see Georgia grinning through her own tears. You make me braver. You make me want to be worthy of how you see me. You turned my audience of 17 disaster enthusiasts into a community of people who believe in love. And you did it just by being yourself, kind and strong and absolutely devastating in a swimsuit. More laughter, and I can see my dad wiping his eyes in the front row. I promise to keep accidentally broadcasting our private moments because apparently that's how we do things. I promise to always be your biggest fan, even when you're doing that thing where you wake up at 4:30 a.m. to go voluntarily jump in cold water. I promise to love you through every victory and every challenge, in public and in private, for disasters and triumphs and all the perfectly ordinary moments in between. I slide the ring onto her finger, a simple band that matches mine. I choose you too, Georgia Martinez. Every day, every disaster, every live stream, every moment. When Sarah pronounces us married and tells us to kiss, the cheer from the crowd is deafening. But all I can focus on is Georgia's smile, the way her eyes crinkle at the corners, the feeling of her hands in mine as we kiss in front of everyone we love. They're married. I'm sobbing best wedding ever. We love you both. This is what happily ever after looks like. The reception is exactly the kind of beautiful chaos you'd expect when you combine an Olympic athlete's friends with a live streamer's audience. Georgia's teammates teach my family synchronized swimming moves in the pool. My college friends challenge her to various feats of strength that she wins graciously. My live stream audience votes on everything from our first dance song to which cake we should cut first. No regrets? I asked Georgia during our first dance, swaying to Atlas while our photographer captures every moment and my audience provides commentary. Only that we waited 6 months, she says, spinning me under her arm. Should have proposed the day you threw mail at me. That would have been presumptuous. I could have been a terrible kisser. Elena, I watched you eat a burrito for an hour during one of your early streams. I knew exactly what I was getting into. That was educational content. People need to know the proper burrito to mouth ratio. She laughs and pulls me closer. I love you, Mrs. Martins-Chen. I love you too, Mrs. Martins-Chen. Later, after the cake is cut and the toasts are made and the last of our guests have headed home, we collapse on our hotel bed, still in our wedding clothes. Scrolling through the thousands of congratulatory messages from our extended internet family. Elena and Georgia forever. You two give me hope. This is what love looks like. Can't wait to see what disasters married life brings. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Look at this, Georgia says, showing me her phone. Someone has made a compilation video of our entire relationship, from the mail incident to the first kiss to the engagement to today, set to romantic music with all our best quotes. We're really doing this, I say, settling against her shoulder. Marriage, public life, sharing our disasters with strangers, having second thoughts. I look at my ring, at our photos scattered across the bed, at George's face soft with exhaustion and happiness. Never, but I should probably warn you, married life with me is going to be very well documented. Good, she says, pressing a kiss to my temple. I want to remember everything.